Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how I make my raw dog food, different layers and the steps that I'm going to go into it. You'll see how we do the organ meat. We've got beef heart, beef liver, beef kidney, and that's all ground up together. I've got some different items and we'll go through those right now. And I'm going to start my layers in my Rubbermaid 5.7 liter flat container. So I've got my big box outlet store ground beef, lean ground beef. That's going to be the bottom and top layer. So I just want to show you quick how I do that. There's one. I'm just going to make a flat layer out of this. And then on top of that, I'll put the rest of my items. And there is a method to my madness of doing this. Because the organ meat is really sticky. And I should probably, my pro tip for you is that after you've finished grinding up the organ meat in your food processor, make sure you wash it right away, because if you let that stuff dry onto your food processor, it like turns into cement and it's really difficult to get off. So as soon as you can, while it's still wet, go ahead and clean it off. So I'm just going to flatten this out real quick with my fork. Let's try and get an even layer. Then the next thing to go on will be my bone dust that I get from the butcher. So this is, or blade dust. So this is the product that when they're slicing their big chunks of meat and whatever else and fat and everything. So the blade teeth grab chunks of stuff and bone fragments and carry it down. And there's a big bin at the bottom of the blade, their bandsaw blade, and this is what comes out. And they usually either throw this out or they add this to the dog food mixture if they use it. But it's really terrific. I like it because it has some extra fat in it, has a little bit of meat in it, and plus the calcium from the bone chips, which is great. My dog has really weak teeth. I think we got her when she was 2, and so I think she had poor nutrition when she was growing up. And so we blew through a bunch of molars, cracking on bones and stuff like that. So I don't feed raw bones to her because it'll just, she'll crack her teeth again and cost too much money. So this is one way I get calcium into her, through this bone dust and then also through my eggshells. So every time we have an egg in the house, we save the shells and then I stick them in my coffee grinder and grind them up into a really fine powder. This stuff's really terrific. My dog had some issues with kidneys recently. She's getting up there in age. She's about 12, and we got a supplement from the vet, and if you read the ingredients, it's pretty close to eggshells. So this is really good for them as well. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put on about half of this. So I'm going to make actually two batches of this exact same thing. So 185 or something like that. That's pretty close. So then I'm going to spread this out into the middle layer. It doesn't have to be super even, but try and get it that way. Then I can go ahead and add my super sticky stuff. So I put this down first on top of the ground beef because I can actually spread it with the knife. If I tried to put that on top of this, it wouldn't work. So. Taking my sliced up organ bits, just trying to mix them up as best as I can in the mixer so I get a little bit of everything. Of course, there's quite a bit more heart than everything. Just get a good variety of kidney, liver, and heart into my blender and just give it a whiz. do about half. That was about 2 liters worth of stuff, about 8 cups. So we take it about halfway down. Again, spreading it out smooth. Second layer. Because when I grab this stuff to baggie it, and you'll see later, I grab it straight down and I make a sandwich out of it. So it gets all layers into each bag of dog food that I make. And then I'm going to sprinkle this stuff on. So this is easy to sprinkle on top now. Just a bit more careful on this layer, because if I push too hard down into the center, I'm going to mix up my careful layers that I already have. So cost-wise on this, I spent about $100 on ground beef today at the big box outlet. The organ meats, the heart was about $13, I think, somewhere in there. Kidneys are about $4, and a couple pieces of liver are about the same, about $4 or $5 as well. Eggshells are free, basically, because they were just a byproduct of us eating eggs. Okay, now we're going to put it all together. So we've got our multi-layers, we've got our ground beef on the bottom, we've got our organ meat, we've got our bone dust, we've got our eggshells, and then we top it all off with a lovely layer of ground beef again. So then I get my baggies. These are just a 2 ml plastic bag, links down below for something similar. These are like 12 by 6 by 3, get whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. These work really well. 2 mil thickness works well for me. And then I just dig down, I get all the layers in one. So my dog weighs about 65 pounds, something like that. So this one's going to be too heavy, I can tell that already. And I want to do about, I work metric for most of the time, but everywhere else I work in ounces. So I wanted it to be about 10 ounces, so I'm way over on this one. So I can hold that one back. On camera nerves, probably, because usually I can nail this pretty close by weight in my hand. Like that. 1045. Perfect. So I've got it in the baggie. I just try and get most of the air out. Give it a twist, fold it over. And there's my one part of my meal. So that's the meat part of the meal. You'll see the veggie glop that we made the other day, and we'll link to that up in the corner. See how we make the veggie glop. So she gets a meat patty and a veggie glop, and these go in the freezer for when we need them.